One of the ways to resist a creative project is to do another creative project. It's just another form of resistance. Or taking a shadow job because you want to avoid that job that is the one you want to do or for your highest purpose. And I did so many things like this, like I did stand-up comedy, I did singing, I did dance, I did acting, all really not quite narrowing in to what it was I wanted to do, like how I could use my gifts for my purpose. And here's an example of how not to do stand-up comedy. And again, it ties in with this idea of you need to surround yourself with encouragement. You need to get the right support and the right encouragement. And you need to write your own script. Like, if you're doing the comedy that somebody else wrote for you, it's not going to have any juice. So my very first stand-up comedy class, which I highly recommend you take a stand-up comedy class, because there's nothing more terrifying than stand-up comedy. And that's why I did it, because not much scares me, and I thought I'll do stand-up comedy. And it's a easy outlet to be creative. You only get 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, maybe 10, 20, 60 if you get at an advanced level. But you don't have to go to rehearsals to be in a play. You don't have to learn a huge script. You just go up there and you're done. And it was a great way for me to have a creative outlet, especially back in the time when I was living in Hawaii. I would go like once a year to New York, and I would do stand-up comedy every day for a month, or I'd go do the Edinburgh Fringe or something like that. My very first stand-up comedy class that I took was in Denver. I was 27, and everyone went around the room and just said like one line and why you wanted to do this. And my one line was, all my life I've wanted to be a motivational speaker, but I just haven't been able to get motivated about it. Boom. I mean, it was just like I nailed it. And the teacher at the time, she says, wow, you are going to have a career in stand-up comedy. Like, you are going to have a career. And wow, that was such an encouragement to me. It was such an encouragement to hear that. And it was such a supportive class. Okay, fast forward another year or so, I was out in Los Angeles, being a struggling actor, and I took another stand-up comedy class by a very famous stand-up comedy teacher. I won't say her name, but let's just say she wrote the Comedy Bible. And she's a great teacher, but I wasn't ready for constructive criticism. I was not ready to hear anything other than you're amazing. Like, I was so nervous and shy just to even be there. And I did that bit. I did the bit. All my life I wanted to be a motivational speaker, but I just haven't been able to get motivated about it. And she stopped me in the middle and she's like, I don't know. It's like, it's not quite right. It's just not quite good enough. And I was like, I knew at that. And it hurt. And I took it personally. Don't do that. Of course, it was my problem. And I didn't do stand-up comedy after that class for 7 years. Think about it. 7 years. So that's why you have to protect your creative. It's like a little birdie. It's like you got to protect it. You got to surround yourself with encouraging people. And know if you put yourself in a class in Los Angeles or New York or anywhere with professionals, they're going to tell you how you need to improve. And so, now I'm older and I'm more mature and I'm just kind of, oh yeah, tell me help me write it, rewrite, let's do this. But at that time, I wasn't ready for that. She had a whole thing. She was like, well, if you're going to talk about stand-up comedy, if you're going to talk about motivational speaking in stand-up comedy, you got to talk about Tony Robbins, the number one. And so she wrote this whole bit for me. And I have tried this bit so many times, I can't wait. She was like, what's it like being Tony Robbins? You got to be happy all the time. And, your wife is like, good morning, da da da, fuck off, And anyway, it just didn't work. And then she had this part that she had me do, which was, how do you get to be a motivational speaker anyway? Is there a school? And what do they teach? How to mop the floors with a sense of purpose? How to take out the trash with wild abandon? How to brush your teeth in 3 steps that will change your life? It's actually really funny, but it wasn't from me. I didn't care about the motivational school. I know you don't have to you don't have to go to school to be a motivational speaker. You just have to be able to talk honestly about something you believe in. And that's what I should have done to make it funny. What was the other part of it? Oh God. Oh, there was an act out. Yeah, I was broke. I was living in a mobile home park, and I took the How to Be Motivational class, and now I'm selling courses. Ugh. Oh God, thank you for that. Cut that. So yeah, it's like when we share our art, whether you're a singer, you're a sculptor, you're a painter, uh, it's not about being famous. It's not about how you look. It's not about what you think will be good. It's about what is alive in you. Like what are you passionate about now? Like what upsets you? What do you really want to talk about today? And if you're somebody like me, that's going to change every day. You know, my YouTube has gone from like, vegan tips to motivation to, creative process. And it's going to keep changing because I'm changing. But if you speak from your heart, that's what's important. And when people say, oh, I'm not going to make it as a stand-up comedian, I'm not going to make it as a singer. What? What do you mean make it? There's no making it. I mean, nobody makes it. I had a friend at the Groundlings when I went there, and she would say, what was it, Phoebe that went on to be in the Friends, and there were a few people that went on to SNL and became Saturday Night Live, but the teacher said, nobody else does that. We have thousands of students. Nobody does that. That's like winning the lottery. So if you get at the level of you're like Taylor Swift or you hit the jackpot. And I mean, good for Taylor. She's taking her journaling, like she's writing and she's sharing just her day. It's like, oh, I'm here at the coffee shop and I'm alone and I caught your eye and now I'm thinking about you. I'm thinking about you. Always thinking about you. Good for her, because she's journaling. She's made her art out of what is alive for her in that day. But for the rest of us, it's the expression of creativity that's fun. It's the getting on stage, feeling that aliveness for what you want to say about. It's giving your gifts to those that need it. That's a reward. And if you're singing to be famous or to look good, that's awful. You're going to be miserable. They're all miserable. They're all on drugs. They're depressed. I mean, they're all like, almost all those people like Justin Bieber and Lady Gaga and all that, they're on like mood stabilizers or they've got chronic fatigue syndrome or they're taking like painkillers just to get up on stage. And by the way, those are two very talented people. That's not anything negative. I really loved, I think both of those, even though they're very produced. They're very produced and they're very commercial. But when they started, and still, if they're just on the piano and they're singing, they still are able to sing from their heart. So don't get stuck in the trap of name and fame and trying to make it. Because if that's the criteria, you've already failed. If the criteria is to make it big, to be successful, to be famous, blah, 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 you've already failed. You're not going to do it. It's going to be one disappointment after another. But if you can learn to express yourself, what is alive for you in that day, for the joy of singing, for the joy of painting, for the joy of whatever your art is. Running your own business is a creative process. If you do it for the love of doing it, for being in the moment, all art can be about being in the present moment, about getting in alignment with our path in that moment. And then it's just juicy. It's just good. It's just by itself, it's enough. It's enough to sustain that joy. It gives its own joy. And good for you if you're able to do it and you get advanced, you get better and better and you get a mastery and then you start getting paid for it. And that does feel good. And actually, I don't think it's ever happened to me. So I don't know. I've heard it feels good. I think I made $20 at a stand-up comedy show once. If you get it, that's great, but don't make it the reason. Make it the reason. Make your art a spiritual practice. It's a facing your fear. It's getting out there, putting yourself out there, facing your fear, and in that you find peace because you're finally expressing your gift. Who cares if anybody pays for it? Who cares if you're famous? All that is a distraction, and it's dangerous, and it's full of problems, right? And God bless you if it happens, and there's strategies to be a healthy person, once you get there, if that happens. But it's a very, very small group of people. But what's available for everybody can express their art and be fulfilled and contribute to this amazing life experience and help change the world on a daily basis. You can do it in the forest, you can do it anywhere you just give yourself, you get that benefit. One of my stand-up comedy shows was, I was doing really well in stand-up comedy. I finally was getting kind of on a roll. And there is that nice thing with your art that you get on a roll and you start doing it often and it feels fun. It's like you've learned the instrument. And I had 3 shows in one night in New York City, and I was going around from by taxi to the shows, and it was such a high. But the 3rd show, my agent was there. I had a bunch of my stand-up comedy buddies and a few of my friends and my roommates, and I was flat, I was, and I had the show right before. I had people like, I was like, yeah, I'm gluten intolerant, and I'm sorry, I can't eat pancakes like you, and just pancakes, just the crowd was just crazy. Just insane over everything. But this show, it was flat. And you could hear a pin drop. And there I am giving my spill. All my life, I wanted to be a motivational speaker. And then my timing was off. But I just haven't been able to get motivated about it. And people were like, should we be concerned? And then I got nervous, so then I got in my head. And then I was like trying to perform, trying to be good at something, trying to get through. And I wasn't just sharing. You know, if you're just sharing from your heart, who cares if they laugh or not? Because you're passionate about what you have to share. And the host got up after me and was like, "Give a hand for Larry Tadlock. He's usually very funny." And so we do it because we have to share something that's alive for us. If it's not fun, don't do it. But that doesn't mean it should be fun in the beginning, because in the beginning you're terrified. That's resistance. So once you get past the resistance and you get in touch with your message or your art, what you want to express, then it should be fun. And yeah, and be motivated. Don't let all my life I've wanted. Is there something you've been wanting to do? All my life I've wanted to fill in the blank. You know what it is. All my life I've wanted to. You know what to do. I'm Larry Tadlock. This is Life by Larry. Have a great day. Let me know what you think.